faster. Boom, I'm going to the maximum. I'm going to the maximum. I'm going to the maximum.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for having me in Blockchain Week. And I'm sure some of you recognize me because I'm wearing the same clothes I was wearing yesterday. No? So yes, my name is Anthony Francisco, and I'm a creative director at Dolphin Entertainment, but I used to be former senior visual development artist at Marvel Studios. And I was going to show you some of the work I've done. The newest film that's out right now is Wakanda Forever. So are you guys interested in seeing some concept art for that? Well, before we start with that, I'm going to just show you a video that a friend of mine made for me the first time Black Panther came out, because I wanted people to know the kind of stuff I did for Marvel, especially the Dora Milaje, which has a lot of Filipino influence in it from specifically the Ifugao tribe. So I'm going to play this video real quick for you guys. Hopefully you haven't seen it yet, but here it is.
Now, whatever you do, don't push this button. No!
Reference is not just a visual, it's a feeling. When I create these characters, I draw from personal experiences. There was a time when things weren't so good in the Philippines. Walking to school with some friends, we saw a dead body, and it was very traumatic. The comic book became my outlet to see the world being saved by heroes. Charlie Wen, he got me in for Guardians of the Galaxy to do Aliens. And from there, my first main character that I got to work on was Baby Groot. James Gunn came to me, he wanted a really cute character, but to get me through into Baby Groot, I was heavily influenced by my kids. While I was designing Baby Groot, my kids were a big influence. The other characters I worked on is Loki for Thor Ragnarok, Hulk from Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange. In Infinity War, I did a lot of kind of cool stuff on that too, which I can't talk about. I also do keyframe art to help the director visualize the scene, from the lighting to the feel. So for example, Ant-Man, we wanted to show how the miniature world would look like. It's a crazy feeling that my designs are up on a big screen, and it's iconic now. Everyone's cosplaying it. And I would have never dreamt that my designs could be that influential. And to top it off, to be part of the team that created Black Panther, the biggest superhero film of all time, and I feel so fortunate. I created Okoye, the general of the Dora Milaje, in Nakia's costume, which ended up being the Dora Milaje costume. And in the Philippines, we have a lot of warriors there, people fighting against colonialism. So the first thing that came to my mind from my inspiration was the Igorots, the Ifugao. Remembering the Igorot having the little sash that comes down and how that's built helped me design the costume for the Dora Milaje. The flexibility and the freedom to create is why I love art. Everyone's creative in their own way, and they have a lens that they see things and translate things. I hope I really get to inspire people and get to inspire people from the Philippines, because that's where I came from. And to know that no matter where you are in life, if you just focus and work hard, you will get to where you want to go.
Thank you, guys. So yeah, I appreciate my friend for doing that, Ryan Moore. He's an amazing friend, and he did that just to make sure no one takes credit from the stuff that I've done for the Marvel. But it's been really, that's really old, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. Let me gonna show you some. Okay. It still gets me every time I see it. It's kind of emotional. Because there's a point, this was not actually about to come out because it was too emotional for me. I was like, oh no, don't let it go out. And he was like, no, but you have to think of it as you're inspiring people. So, just be brave and just put it out there. And because I always have the fear of it not being good enough, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I'm glad it went out. And after a year, nothing really happened with it until somebody shared it. And then next thing you know, it had 4 million views. But it wasn't on my YouTube channel. Damn it. So anyway, I'm going to go to the next slide just to show you guys some work I did for Loki. I only have 15 minutes, so I'm going to go as fast as I can with this. And if there are any questions, just ask in between, and I will try to answer it as quick as I can. But I'm just going to talk about Loki a little bit, how Taika Waititi wanted a brand new look for Loki. And we wanted him to look more macho here, more Norse god of mythology. And eventually, when I showed other versions of him, trying to bring him back to how he looked like in Asgard, but with a new twist. So I'm really happy that I was able to redesign Loki. So one way I love to design is designing through more with feeling and with story, putting story into the character's costume design. Most beginning concept artists, they would take pieces of reference, put it together, and find something aesthetically pleasing visually. But if you start from the story within and start trying to symbolize the emotion instead of just putting pieces together, then there will be true meaning in your design. So for him, he lost his mom, he lost his dad, his sisters after him. And I made sure that the designs have this diagonal kind of cuts and asymmetry, showing that inside his heart, he's so unbalanced. And he's still figuring out who he is. So and this started becoming the running theme. I would put purple or different colors inside the inside shapes, so that would be a symbolizing that he's in mourning still. And these are different horn designs, also trying for him to be a little more what do you call this, macho, I guess, because he's very elegant kind of character. So I was supposed to do this in sections. I was supposed to show this to you guys first. See this? He's very confident, and this one he feels like he's a brute. This one, this one would come first, and he feels like he has something to prove here because his horns, And then I settled with this version. This is kind of nice. He's so larger than life here. I've never seen it this way. So that design with the hair coming out, that's what Taika really loved, and I really like that because I like the new look for having the hair come out and having more elegant headdress. So that became the approved design. And then I proceeded to do the Sakar versions. So these are just a little portion of most of the stuff I've done. Trying to put samurai in there, or trying to add, because he likes to showboat, So I did like what do you call that? Who's that? Opera singer or pianist? Liberace. So more like a Liberace type feel, because he wants to be in with the crowd, and very colorful, like a peacock. So that's his character, because he's kind of hiding most of his hurt. And this are the 2 approved designs that happened. So I'm very proud of this. I don't get to talk about this enough. But since we're not enough time, there's still so much more I could go into. Why I have this little mark on his chest. Why, pieces of his armor echoes Asgard. And the shape of that little check mark is like a heart, which means, part of it is for the love of it for his mother, because his mother passed away. And but then that little check mark started off as a big L because I wanted him to be like Mr. T. You know, he's like showing off his jewelry, and then it started getting smaller and smaller until it just got more, streamlined. Because he still has to fight. You know, when I design stuff, I want to make sure the actor can move properly. And of course, Incredible Hulk. One of my favorites. I got to design. I designed the shoulder piece, which never got changed all the way through. The shoulder piece is almost like a love letter to Jack Kirby. It's really studying his design sensibilities and putting it to a modern take. The funny story about this that makes me feel really good was a friend of mine was saying that, not a friend of mine, the supervisor for, well, he is a friend of mine. Sorry, I just woke up. It's kind of early. It's not early. He's supervisor Andy Park for this show, and he was saying Kevin Feige was in a meeting, and they were showing all the Incredible Hulks, but they didn't have this one, and he was looking for this one. So where is this one? Where is this one? And they couldn't find it, so Kevin Feige takes out his phone. This one, it's on his phone. I was like, wow, that's amazing, and he knows who I am. You know, so it was fun to hear that story. So this is a fun. I really love seeing it this big. Wow, look at this. That's how big Hulk really is, I think, right? And so Black Panther next. So do you guys have any questions for the previous one? I could take one right now.
What was the generative process in your mind to come up with the base character?
The base character.
Like when you, I know you had inspiration with Hulk. You kind of had some idea there, and with Loki. But how much did you create it before you knew who the actor was going to be versus after?
Well, lucky thing with Loki, their actor was already cast, you know. But for Black Panther, this might fit your question a little more because Denai wasn't cast yet. I painted her into my design. And I have a feeling that that's what got her in because they were saying that when I was painting her bald, because I was watching a lot of Walking Dead, I was like, she is the perfect, right body type. And we were worried that would she shave her head, for this role. She looks amazing with the shaved head. She should. And I like to think that it's because of my design why she got the role. So starting with Black Panther, again, this is going to be quick. I start off with sketches like this with no reference because I have been looking at a lot of like African work for so long, tribal stuff, Native American, Mayans, Aztec, has always been something I really love, and it's in almost like, if I was a fashion designer, this would be my fashion line kind of deal, So someday I want to do like a Filipino fashion line tribal, but it's all in the lens of trying to make what's her name, Darna, a Darna fashion line. Wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, so I start off with a sketch. Sometimes this one goes with your question where there's nothing there. I don't know what it's gonna look like because the ones in the comic books we don't want to go with because it's too it's too sexualized and it has to be more designed for the cinema and for modern audiences. So I know I had to design two characters, so the two characters I have to make sure there's a very distinct differentiation on their weapons. And again, going to the character, I know that Okoye was a structured type of general, and Nakia was a secret agent, so she would kind of chameleon into anything, so she should be kind of circular in nature, so it's she adapts easily. And Okoye is very symmetrical, and then she has a traditional weapon, and the weapon we have to modernize it some. So from there, I always look into this, so at least every design I have, it will always kind of relate to that. And then going into little design patterns that I would look at, so I would do like an exercise where it's active versus inactive. So the active side, things feel like it's moving more. The other side, it's kind of quiet so that it would contrast, a better contrast, a better balance. So when you design, you have to always think about contrast, right? Dark, light, textured, not textured, happy, sad, emotion stuff really has to start with eliciting an emotion. And then from there, I do like color passes on stuff. Like this was my first pass on something to show the difference with colors and where the brightness should come out, where the gold should be in, and then I'm given more clear direction later on once the script is finally formed. Because we started working on this before the script was made. We just knew we had these characters. They had to be in a casino. I don't know if everyone's familiar with Save the Cat. That's kind of like how we do stuff where we have 5, not always 5, but we would have major key moments in the script that we would just focus on and do the best to make that part look really good. And then the story kind of goes along with it and make it kind of more emotional. From the left over here, it's almost like a take to echo the design for Black Panther. But then early on, they were thinking we wanted it to also transform like Black Panther, but if you do everything armor transforming like Black Panther, it's not special anymore. So we have to make sure there's a distinction between their transformation. So with the Dora Milaje, they have to remain more traditional. For this one, I got a really great comment from a fashion designer. Now I forgot his name, Lamar. He said he would totally make that, so maybe someday. And then here, more of the traditional, what do you call this, tribal look, but more modernized. And she started looking like the female Blade over here. So I would do different takes on stuff, and some pieces would stick, and then I would put it all together into one image, like these images. So I started off with the blue version because they wanted to see something like that, but I said, no, blue version is not good to go because they should feel like, lionesses in the Serengeti hunting. So when I did this one, right away when Ryan Coogler saw it, he just, fell off his seat and he said, that's it, do that design. And Ruth Carter, amazing costume designer, she took my designs and then just magnificently made it look so amazing in real life. Fun fact on this, I got this approved and designed before the costume designer was hired. So which is really awesome. They kept my design all the way through. And this reference sheet I have here is, I did a little presentation at Disney, and they wanted to know how I would think through a design to make it look like it's something historical, but not, because these are all made up. Wakanda is a fictional country, and all these designs are. So we won't be stepping on anyone's toes or make anybody angry if the designs aren't accurate. But yeah, these are all my inspirations, 80% African aesthetic, 10% Filipino, and 5% samurai. And definitely when I'm designing these characters, I had movement in mind. I didn't want the actors to feel too cumbersome, That's from the get-go when I start designing. So the most was this decorative armor I know of is the samurai, so that's where I started as a base. And then I built up from the samurai base into what you see the Dora Milaje is now. There's another feature for the armors, this little armadillo piece, they started nicknaming it. No one knows where that's coming from. I never told anybody how I designed it because I'm keeping that for myself until I'm actually doing a presentation. Because sometimes some people take your story and then they tell the story themselves. But this armor piece is just a piece of vibranium that possibly went on to become full armor sets for medieval knights. So that's kind of like the through line, the little story I'm giving myself. If Wakanda went around the world to share their knowledge the first time, but then, it was used for the wrong things, and and they stopped kind of sharing with the world. So that's kind of what I did. Sorry, I don't know how much time I have left. I kind of ramble. I keep on going on. 1 minute and 32 seconds. Oh my God, I'm not even to my Baby Groot part. Let me keep on going. Baby Groot, you guys. So the way I designed him, when James Gunn told me he was gonna die, I go, he's gonna die, I know, but you have to have the new Baby Groot coming in. So I didn't know how Baby Groot was gonna be. He was gonna be was he gonna be an alien plant, or, starting off with a lot of seeds and they all pop up and only one survives? Or is it just this one thing where, he's already dancing, but he's like a little mushroom type thing? Or is he asparagus, because, I was vegetarian at that time. So it's, asparagus Groot. Or he's a little baby octopus with mushrooms. So sometimes you want to go, I never go 50-50 with a design, so always like 80% something and then something else. So this was like octopus, 80% octopus, 20% mushroom. And this one was like, I don't know, I think I was working really late, and this like a hamburger, Baby Groot. And then Walking Dead. I keep on going back to that. So no, not the Walking Dead one. So I start, okay, is he like a little bark tree? And is he just growing? And they know. And then James Gunn goes that he said, no, I want a face on a stick. I said, what? A face on a stick? But not like that. So I did multiple versions. This one actually had faces on sticks, and they would like fight each other and then see who's the winner. And then we settled. Again, I'm sorry. I keep on. The Walking Dead always comes out, which is kind of funny, because while I'm working, watching Walking Dead, and then I came up, in the end. You just see a few here, but this iteration, I had like 10 versions of it, different levels of finish, and more on the anime side of looking, bigger eyes and stuff, until I got to this version with this little flower. He liked the flower for another, like a gag or something, but I had to take it out here. So this became the final version. And from here, the great thing about working at Marvel, I get to design, you get to own your character. So I pretty much own Baby Groot, and Baby Groot in every iteration. Baby Groot with his legs. Based on my son, it's just really emotional, I guess, for me that I'm able to get him to kind of be on screen. You see him running, and it just looks like him to me anyway. And I'm sure you guys seen this video before online that he's like, I made the world know that he is a little Filipino boy. Because it's a mix of my son and the Balita tree design. So clearly you can see in his limbs and stuff. Initially, they want him to feel more toddler-like, but toddlers usually have bigger heads, and they kind of walk awkwardly, so he can't do like his moves that he needs to do in the movie. So once I realized my son, like he was this small, he was doing b-boy moves already when he was younger. He's a tough kid. He's actually a really accomplished athlete now, but he's just 15. World champion jiu-jitsu, level 5 gymnast, regional champion United States. It's very, very, and same with his sister. His sister's like 3-time Kids World Jiu-Jitsu champion, and she's also 13 now, and they do volleyball now. But anyway, someday you'll see them in my short film I'm working on, which is based on Filipino folklore. Next year, I'll be shooting it, so follow my Instagram to see updates on that. But I'm so excited to show you guys that. So from here to here, this over here became the the approved version, and then I had to put them together with click. Oops. So you put them in a keyframe. So each character, we design characters in costumes, but we at Marvel Studios Visual Development, as former Marvel Studios Visual Development, we also have to put them in keyframes. So keyframes are important moments in the film to show emotion, to see if it works on frame. At the back, by the way, that's the obelisk, the creature that swallowed Drax, and I also designed that. That was a fun design experiment because it just took me 3 days to get that approved, and I couldn't believe it. And next would be another keyframe relationship between Rocket and Baby Groot, but here Baby Groot was just a little bit too big, and click. This clicker's not working, huh? You're just timing it when I click. So click, small click up on the shoulder. Yes, there. And then that became like the look that, okay, that's it. And that became the final version of Baby Groot. And then we move on to click next, the 3D version. Click next. I'll go a little faster. Sorry, I know there's more time. Just tell me because there's one more page. Keep on going. Just click through. These are all iterations. So he's growing up here. It's my son again. He actually gave me that expression. When I was telling him, "Don't move." More hair designs for this one, and then they said, "Oh, he has to get a little older." So click next. So now he's like 14 here. Click next. I had to do different hairstyles. So at D23, I did a presentation. So I want to know everyone, which hairstyle do you want? The first one? No? Just clap if you like it, okay? The second one? Third one? Let's see. So they should have approved this one. No, just kidding. They approved the last one. So, but everyone so far, 100%. Everyone claps for this and the middle one. All right, click next. And then, he just keeps on growing up in front of my eyes, and now here, he's 16 here. He's growing hair in all the wrong places. He's very, unkept. So he went from having abs over here to being a pot belly over here because James Gunn wanted him to be a gamer. He really liked the idea with the game controller. So this is the version you see in Infinity War. And I didn't know we were doing that at the same time. So sometimes at work, I would be working on 3 projects at the same time, and sometimes very different genres. And it's fun. It's really fun, but it's not sustainable. But eventually, when the movies come out, you're like, wow, I did that? That's so awesome. I wish people knew. But now I'm glad, you guys know. Yes. More versions. Okay, next. Avengers Infinity War. I just want to share this one idea I gave that I didn't know they approved until I was watching the movie. So next slide is a video of some images coupled with the actual What? That was it? Go ahead, sing. It's a little short. I think I put the wrong video, but the last part of that should be the moon being rained down. Click next. Click next. That's not, wait, hold on, don't move it, go back. I just like to wish I was the one here doing this. It looks so good, that big. Go next. Next one. So this is the one that I came up with the idea of the moon being rained down on Doctor Strange. So I didn't know that was happening until I watched the film. I was like, whoa, what the hell? And if you watch the film again, you would see some of the shapes. They actually kept with some of the shapes. So while I was trying to explain to Ryan Meinerding, who was the head of visual development, and he led Infinity War, he also designed a lot of the other characters like Captain America and Winter Soldier. And I was explaining to him here where, oh no, he was giving me the description of what they wanted me to do was, all right, here's the description, Anthony. Since you're the idea guy, we want you to design an epic battle between Doctor Strange that we've never seen before. Easy, right? No sweat. No, just kidding. First I was like, kind of nervous. But once I was in it, it was hard because at first, every fight was just punching, choreography. No, he has the rings, he has the gems. So he would bend reality. He would bring a red dwarf close to, a black hole close to the sun, and then use the gravitational pull to pull the sun's fire. So that's kind of what I was doing, opening portals, taking Halley's Comet out of its orbit and raining it down on Doctor Strange, taking the moon down. So I had other sketches, these three are just the ones that's presentable. But I had one where the whole moon actually is coming down on, Doctor Strange. I was thinking, this is very expensive. They won't do this. So then I tried to make it cheaper. And then I had cheaper versions. So for concept artists, when you design stuff, don't just come up with very extravagant scenes. You have to also, be versatile and have cheaper versions of your scenes. So even with costume design, I would have the $100 costume versus the $100,000 costume, and that's very important. Click next. You guys saw this before. With Ant-Man, also the scripts, when they make the scripts, some of it's not as detailed, and when you come up with your own, what do you call this, suggestions, sometimes they would write it into the script. So click next. So this is one of my contributions in this script. They didn't have Ant-Man feeding sugar water, but when I get into my designs, I do a lot of research. And did you know that ants, majority of ants are all female, and the males are only used for one thing, and then they die. So they also like sugar water a lot. So I thought if Ant-Man would treat one of the ants like a pet, then he would give him a treat of sugar water. And then, I'm really happy they put this in. One of my friends, Dan Leventhal, who was the editor for Ant-Man, he said this image was hanging in the studio while they're editing because they like the scene so much. Next. And the fight scene in the briefcase, I had the pleasure of designing the fight, choreographing it, putting all the elements inside, pretty much production designing it. So, are you guys curious with what the description was that was given to me? Yeah. Fight scene in briefcase. That was it. And then I added all this stuff, the keys, and even the way they fly through it. I had all that stuff. And I think that's what locked me in to be full-time. Because when I worked there, I was just supposed to be there for 3 months, and the 3 months became 9 years. And then after 9 years, I decided, you know what, I want to be a filmmaker, and I want to direct films. And I was able to, wait, sorry, I'm already segueing to my next slide. Next slide. Oh, wait, before, yeah, okay, Wakanda Forever first. All right, this is, I don't know if you've seen this. I had the pleasure and the luckiness of being able to get the design for, click next, and Namor. So this is my final version for the design. Sorry, please clap. I would love to hear that. That's one thing I know with presentations. I have to stop talking, pause, and receive the love. So this design, just like the Dora Milaje, is close to my heart. It was doing research for all this stuff and finding the history and how, how oppressed the people were and how magnificent the civilization was. Really, it's almost like it's so sad that that the glyphs aren't taught around the world. We should know this stuff. So this neck piece, okay, so Namor, if you know his design in the comic books, it's very simple. Sorry, I keep on going am I over so much? I'm so over So let's just cut this right now. Let's just go. No, just kidding. No, okay, I'm just checking because I don't want to go. So with Namor, you know how his design is really simple, and I know there's controversy with how much it's not like the comic book, how much it's changed and stuff. But for me, having this change is amazing for a designer because like, whoa, I don't have to just do a guy with speedos. I could do someone with with substance. So I was researching the Olmec, the Mayans, the Aztec, but really focusing on the Olmec to the Mayans, how that transition goes and how maybe once they were gods, maybe they fell for some, making up some stuff. And I focused on the belt a lot, so how maybe this belt could symbolize the winged serpent, as if it was a mask, Apocalypto was definitely a inspiration because that was like the closest I think to real. Oh, okay. Let me go faster. Okay, so this. Let me just talk about the neck design really quick. It's made with vibranium, and this version is what. Once Ryan Coogler saw this, he just fell in love with it. That's what I was told. Not my words, my friend's words. And so the design came from a dream. And it was like, so if you look at this neck design, Kukulkan is a god that's a giver and a taker of life. So I was thinking that it would have the duality, have these two, these two dragons, let me just finish this real quick. So giver and taker of life, and then you have the sun in the middle. So depending who you are, you give or take your life. So next one, please. And we'll just go through it real quick. Okay, other designs, next one. Yeah, just keep on going. Wow, that looks, yes, you guys can clap. It's almost done. And then just keep on going and then show the rest. Sorry, I'm over my time. Thank you so much, everyone. So sorry. It was your.